Alright, so many people interpret this move as very boring. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's a very foundational move. It's something that I personally do almost every single day. It's the cat-cow. There's so much going on in this system right here, and we have to coordinate the back side of our body, which is, we can't see it. So the mirror side of ourselves, we usually have a good coordination system for, or a good mapping. But the backside is really subject to kind of like grouping. When that happens, you lose coordination and you lose the ability to transfer forces in a synergistic manner across the whole system. So this one, doing a cat and cow, this is the global cat and cow. So you move the entire body into a mobilization, and you can even get the thoracic spine into it. But what I like to specifically do for me, because I have a problem with this area right here due to my L4 spondy, I shift my weight back to where most of my weight is on the knees. I got about 20% in my hands and about 80% in my knees. And what I cue myself to do is I go into an anterior pelvic tilt, or where I'm a cow, you know, moo, I'm letting the midsection slack down. And then, instead of thinking about going into a cat position, I actually think about pushing my knees into the ground and pushing them through as I rotate the pelvis back. I try to keep my thoracic system out of it, although there is going to be some compensatory motion due to my very tight lats. And I come down, repeat that motion, and as I start to get it, I get some glute activation in it, because that is how I am actually wanting to activate, to kind of pull myself into that posterior tilt. Probably proximal attachment of the hamstrings is activating as well, which means I'm getting a global movement. If this becomes way too easy for you, like you can get this down with controlled and segmentation. So if each segment of your spine is able to move independently and you're able to coordinate them into that flexion and extension position, you've got it down pretty good. Now you want to add complexity. When you add complexity, what I like to do is, you've all seen the bird dog movement of boom right here. You kind of get that same movement, again, shifting the weight onto the knees. You shift back, get into that bird dog position, and then from this position, you want to do cat and cow. So what that's going to do is to force you to now change how you disperse the forces through the system. You're using an oblique sling while still coordinating the low back, which I think is going to be much more functional in our everyday patterns. You don't sit on both legs and have to shift back and forth all the time. Instead, we usually have to pick up things while we're weight bearing unilaterally on one leg. And that allows us to control this area better as we go through our everyday activities. So, whoever said it's a boring movement, well, I need to get the foundations right.